old day battles used to be simple. You conquer a territory, capture every individual, and impose your culture on them. However, within a few years, the retaliations used to strike back and locals used to support their earlier rulers. In modern day, it is simply not possible. Often locals are hit by Stockholm syndrome, due to which a strong leader has to force change from the top. This is exactly what Rishi Sunak plans to do. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Tejasvi Malhotra, and if you haven't subscribed to the TFI English channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates. Coming back to the story in this video, I'm here to tell you about Sunak's plan to eliminate China from United Kingdom. Ever since Donald Trump told a sleeping world about the excesses of China, countries have been trying to disassociate themselves from the communist nation. But UK, a key ally of the USA, was too much dependent on it. That is why Rishi Sunak is trying to become third Prime Minister in a row whose pitch to USP will be being a China hawk, and he has his arsenal ready. Rishi Sunak has told Brits that if he becomes the Prime Minister, then he will eliminate Chinese influence from the region. And Rishi does not mean lowering only Chinese money on the banks of Thames River. He seems to have a detailed plan for throwing out Chinese soft power in the country as well. Rishi has announced that if he becomes the PM, then he will shut down 30 Confucius institutes in Britain. Additionally, on the lines of India keeping a check on foreign funding, Rishi will also ask universities to disclose foreign funding. This move is especially targeted to what Rishi termed as kick the Chinese Communist Party out of our universities. Moreover, to counter Chinese military ambitions, Rishi is thinking of building a NATO-style military cooperation. Highlighting how he will change attitude of British political setup towards China, Rishi said they torture, detain and indoctrinate their own people, including in Xinjiang and Hong Kong, in contravention of their human rights. And they have continually rigged the global economy in their favor by suppressing their currency. Enough is enough. For too long, politicians in Britain and across the West have rolled out the red carpet and turned a blind eye to China's nefarious activity and ambitions. I will change this on day one as PM. Like every other country in the Western world, UK is also a victim of Bill Clinton's eagerness to bring China in WTO. Initially, China did not show any intention to increase its political clout in Britain. China utilized the days of Tony Blair and Gordon Brown to build a base upon which they could launch a full-fledged diplomatic offensive. 3 years into David Cameron's prime ministership, Xi Jinping took charge in China, and China's imperial ambitions became overt, especially in its neighboring regions. In spite of being aware of China's predatory approach, David Cameron went out of his way to forge warm ties with China. In his 2013 visit to China, Cameron went with largest ever trade delegation of 120 people. Both countries signed trade pact worth £6 billion. Next year, Li Keqiang returned the favor of Xi Jinping's path. Later, George Osborne, then British Finance Minister, explicitly declared that Britain is dependent on China for economic growth. In 2015, Xi Jinping himself visited the country, and there the world finally got to know the depth with which China had permeated in Britain's polity. Cameron's promise of golden era in China-Britain relationship was being manifested in him sharing a pint of beer with Jinping at a pub in English county of Buckinghamshire. Later, Chinese bought that pub, along with many other key figures in British politics. Lord Brownie, formerly the UK chairman of Hawaii Technologies, served as the British government's lead non-executive director from 2010 until 2014. Sir Andrew Khan, a board member of Hawaii UK, was in charge of UK trade and investment, while John Suffolk, Hawaii's senior vice president and global cyber security and privacy officer, also served as Cameron's chief information officer. Between 2010 and 2016, China invested more than $10 billion in Britain. That is why when David Cameron resigned, it became imminent for upcoming British Prime Ministers to strangulate China. When Theresa May was at the helm of affairs, the level of enthusiasm between London and Beijing went down considerably. Many ambitious projects like an RMB bond issuance and a London-Shanghai stock got sidelined. Later, Boris Johnson also continued with May's legacy and banned Chinese Huawei from participating in Britain's 5G future. In March this year, Boris' government termed China as the biggest state-based threat to UK's economic security. However, Rishi was believed to be China dove by many. Global Times was hopeful of reconciliation with Britain, but at the end of the day, he will always go with domestic demands.